The first section is my reaction to some of the class activities. So in terms of the syllabus, I at first thought it was very unclear what we needed to do week over week. I felt that the syllabus was a little bit lengthy, and it was just sort of these lengthy paragraphs that I felt could have been more concise, maybe in more of like an outline type format, with important dates more clearly laid out. And I just wanted a little bit of a better overview from the get-go of what was expected. However, once the modules came out, I did have a clear picture of the expectations of work. So I felt a little more confident that I'd be able to get the work done in a timely manner. In terms of the weekly modules, I felt like they were really clearly laid out. The overview was extremely helpful. The PowerPoints are interesting and they are clear and concise. They provide really good information that's really useful. And I found that the information is actually very applicable to my job. In terms of my grade improvement, I was really disappointed at first. My Module 2 discussion and assignment grades were absolutely abysmal. And I was able to improve them with the comments from the professor and with communication from the professor as well, and I did see an improvement in my grades overall. Section 2 is using theories to better understand relationships around me. So LMX theory is about looking at the relationships around me and better understanding them and why they are the way they are. And so I started to take a look at my coworkers and see which coworkers were in the in group and which were in the out group. And more importantly, I thought about how can I make those that are in the out group feel more included. So what I started to do was have these little one-on-one tag-ups with different members of the team, especially those that I thought were in the out group, ones that I thought were a little bit more introverted and maybe more quiet during our team meetings. And I just started to form connections with different members of my group, which was really interesting in terms of just improving interpersonal connections. And I think that it's improved morale with both of us because I now look forward to speaking with a lot more of my team members. Section 3 is using guidelines to implement positive change. So this section really stood out to me. At first in my job, my relationship with my manager was not very good. We had no communication at all. Emails were not being responded to until months later. Meetings were missed, phone calls were missed, etc. And I couldn't really figure out the problem. I couldn't put my finger on it. Like, what is going on with our relationship? I got along very well with my old manager, and I just couldn't really understand it. So after going through this class, I sort of realized that she was really a laissez-faire manager. And so what I did was I took the action to set up a meeting to work through our problems because what I needed was a more transformational leader in my corner. And so I set up a meeting with her. I was open and honest. I told her exactly how I felt. I did not hold back. I told her I felt that she was not there for me, that she was not setting me up for success, and that she was just an absentee manager. I said it a little more nice than that. But ever since then, she really, really apologized sincerely. And we worked through our problems since that day, and our relationship has really improved. And I think so has my morale because I'm no longer looking to change teams. I'm very happy with her as my leader, and I do at this point feel that she is setting me up for success. So section 4 focuses on the behavior and effectiveness of a leader. So for this section, I wanted to actually focus on my mentor, not my manager. And My mentor is an extremely effective leader. I would consider him a transformational leader because he exhibits the 4 key aspects to transformational leadership. So the first, he sets up a good example of work ethic, which is known as idealized influence. He inspires the team and me specifically to follow a path forward and a vision we have. So that's inspirational motivation. He challenges us when we ask to be challenged and feel we're ready for it. And he encourages us to think outside the box, which is intellectual stimulation. And lastly, he supports and encourages us as individuals and constantly requests feedback on how to help us succeed. So I would say that that's pretty good individualized consideration. And he's a very effective leader because the employees feel empowered to make him proud. And our morale is extremely high when we work with him. And he's the kind of manager where if we see that we're going to work with him on a mission in the future, we're very excited about the prospect of that. Our 5th section focuses on a manager attempting to influence me to improve my scores. So during my mid-year with my manager, our relationship was still rocky at this time. And I got pretty positive feedback except for this one area. There was one metric and I didn't do too well on it. And this metric essentially reflects how long it takes you to buy something once it's put in your queue. So your turnaround time, essentially. Mine was a little low, and when I first got the feedback that it was a little low, I got very defensive because I felt that I have several roles in the organization, I'm overwhelmed with work, and I have just too much on my plate to have a quick turnaround time. And at the time, my manager didn't know that. My manager didn't know any of that because we had no communication and our relationship just wasn't there. So after we had this discussion about my workload, I was actually able to offload some of my work to an employee that I'm actually mentoring. So I get the opportunity to teach someone how to buy the things that I buy. I get to lessen my workload. My mentee gets the opportunity to learn something new and to advance in his career, and my metrics will see an improvement. So it turned out really well. My metrics have improved since then. I still have a little ways to go, but they're definitely getting there, and hopefully I will be able to vastly improve them by my end of the year review. So this last section is about a group process and its effectiveness. So my team meets twice a day as a group to go over something called the constraints list. And these are parts that are essentially holding up an aircraft. And the different program areas are present. So, for example, the design engineers, they will present on their progress regarding some redesigns. And supply chain, whom I represent, presents on parts that we're buying, when they're coming in, what's late, what's early, etc. The key players in this group are individuals who are really high up in the organization. So we have program managers, completion supervisors, and even our customer, who's NASA, is present on the meetings every day. So these are mostly men in the meeting, and they're mostly men who have been in the industry a long time, like decades long. And I stand out very much in the meeting. I'm young, I'm bubbly, and I'm new to the industry relative to the others. The way the team sort of treats me is a little ineffective. They don't really want to hear from me, they talk over me, they rush me off the phone, and it leads to a lot of miscommunication and slow progress. I don't have a great solution for it yet. I'm still going through this problem daily. But I continue to hold my ground and to make a good name for myself in the industry and on the program. So, in conclusion, this course has allowed me to see my workplace different. I think about people's motives a lot more. I start to notice the in-group and out-group being treated differently. I have been able to improve my work life by applying some of these concepts, and I look forward to learning a lot more in the future. Thank you.